Hi, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys have been following my previous video cast, you'll know that this is my third or fourth one, and every time I open up my MacBook, have a video on, I have something very interesting to say. And for the most part, if you have used the internet, currently is using the internet, or will be using the internet anytime soon, this information is 100% relevant to what you are doing and 100% relevant to your life. Anyways, what I'm about to cover today, is something called CSS. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. Now, this is a technology used to add design to websites. See, 10 years ago when I first started, actually I started 11 years ago when I first started building websites, it didn't really exist. You know, when you're customizing design stuff for your website, it has to be done in a specific way that was not convenient, and it was and well, there wasn't any mobile devices that had internet support back then, but it wasn't very universal. Well, anyways, these guys they came up with a standard called CSS, and this standard pretty much covers all the visualization, virtually all of the visualizations that you see on websites, all of the design stuff that isn't pictures, that isn't part of the text. It's CSS. It's everything that you see virtually on the web is CSS or CSS based, or a derivative of CSS. Well, on the majority of websites that you see, I mean, you see you see boxes, you see layouting techniques, round boxes, square boxes, boxes with borders in the pictures. But all these things, all these advanced graphical things require advanced development, which in turn requires a lot more time from your developer. He has to use a program called Photoshop to Photoshop all of these things way more, and it takes time. It takes time, and time takes your money away. So the more time your designer, your developer, your webmaster spends on your website, the more time he or she spends on your website, the more money he or she takes from your bank account or your wallet. So more time that your web guy spends, or web girl, equals less money in your bank account. So let's keep our money in our bank accounts. Let's keep our wallets full. It's good to open your wallet and actually see stuff in it. Um, and that's really where the internet is headed. See, this technology, CSS, Cascading Style Sheets, that is virtually everything visual that you see on the internet that's non-picture and non-text based. It's CSS, Cascading Style Sheets. Now, there a new standard, a new a new platform for CSS um, has been released. Not main. It hasn't become mainstream yet. Only certain browsers such as Firefox support it. Safari, Microsoft's Internet Explorer, they haven't really been they haven't caught up with this technology yet. But it's going to be ultra mainstream. It's going to enter the mainstream market, and it's going to affect, if you're a business owner, it's going to affect every single one of your customers. You know, when they're surfing the internet, they're going to be able to have access to this technology called CSS3. And CSS3 is Cascading Style Sheets, the third revision, or third version. They go through these different versions. Every version, you know, new standards, new policies, uh, um, new new requirements are established and put together. And you can actually read the specifications for CSS in the RFC files. with the RFC files is there are these technical specifications that covers not virtually but absolutely, it covers every single technology in detail, in specification, the RFC. Every technology that ever existed in human history has been documented categorically in the RFC. Every technology. So this, if you want to find out more about CSS3, the technical side, you can look up through the RFC. But in a nutshell, what CSS3 does, it improves your web surfing experience by light years. It improves it by light years. And let me give you an example of a couple of things that you can do with CSS3. In the past, you have a box. A box, in technical terms, it's called a div layer. A div layer. If you want a gradient or a fade, if you will, on the border of the box or in the inside of the box, you need to have your developer open a Photoshop, do photo manipulation. That could possibly take hours and hours. And on top of that, he now has to code. He has to code this design and make it both compliant, both standard, and make sure that it works. And that takes time. It takes hours and hours, and possibly could cost hundreds and hundreds and thousands of dollars out of your pocket. With CSS3, it's virtually this much code. One line of code. That's it. Takes 7 seconds. I've done it. 7 seconds. Cutting down hours and hours and hours to 7 seconds. You can have beautiful fade in the border, in the background of colors, and you can do all this within 7 seconds. That's an example of one of the things you can do with CSS3. Other things you can do with CSS3 include, if you want rounded edges in your box, in your module, in your rectangular structure on your website. Now it's this much code. It's one line of code, guys. It's one line of code, and that code seems simpler. It takes 3 seconds. 3 seconds, you have your layout. In the past, I mean, that would have taken hours and hours and hours. Not 3 seconds. 3 seconds. Anyways, I can go on with the effects that you can have on the divs, but on different notes, you've probably seen websites that have shadows or have fiery effects or have glows on the text, or even custom text, custom fonts. I mean, really the only way in the past, and probably even now with most developers, is they have to open up Photoshop or Paint Shop Pro or a video, or I mean a photo editing or photo creation program and create this from scratch. They gotta enter in the text, they gotta create the effects, apply layers and layers and layers of complexity to it, and they have to then use code to embed that into your HTML document, into your HTML website. Well, now it's this much code, guys. It's this much code. One line of code covers all that. And the great news is that I mean, most of the developers out there do not have any grasp of how the CSS3 works, and they're gonna waste hours and hours and hours coding your website and billing you hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Fortunately, we are out there, and we can reduce that time from this to that, and reduce your cost from this to that. So check us out. Our website is www.variable8.com. That's the word variable and the number 8.com. This to that.